it works with slavery where you live?
Just like prison. Just like prison. People are smoking crack in the bed next to you. Drug abuse is rampant because they get drug abuse. They source out to substance abuse treatment facilities. So they get paid for doing all this sourcing, you know? So you live in a room like the size of this area with nothing but dorm beds. And
How many people are in the dorm bed?
so it's 25 on each one, 52 a side. So it's roughly 50 to 100 people on each floor. And they have like a bubble in the middle. So it's architecturally set just like a prison for monetarization. They have techs, which are like COs, they work the area. But the Department of Homeless Services is a huge organization. They have their own police from the police department. They have their own social work, they have their own investigators, you know what I mean? And they have this huge policing system where it's just like prison. And they come, they do random searches, they do, you know, just like jail. You know, the trafficking in drugs is, it's hard, but it's not enforced. When you're talking about somebody's, because in New York State, keeping it on New York in some senses, there's two disabilities that are official disabilities. Number one is substance abuse disability. Number two is mental health disabilities. So if you could service provide both of them, you're going to cash in, and that's what happens. Mental health is considered a disability just like a physical disability and a substance abuse disability also. So when you have an environment like that, they're technically not a substance abuse treatment facility. So they don't have parameter guidelines in which to inhibit someone from. If you're in a facility where a rehab, they're going to say, if we catch you smoking crack, you have to go to detox. They're going to take your property, they're going to make sure you're drugged, they're going to drug test you. This is mandatory for you staying there. In a shelter, it's none of that. So when you have legal laws that are set and people try to, you know, create lawsuits after incidents, and the incidents happen in the Department of Homeless Services in the shelter, whereas two guys are living next to each other. One guy gets drug tested once. The other guy has been drug tested 47 times in the last week. So it became a disparity where employees were abusing it, saying, I'm going to get him out of here, because it used to be a shelter rule that if you were tested positive for drugs, that you would have to go into detox. But rather than fixing it or curtailing it for certain facilities, once somebody made that issue, like, dude, I've been drug tested 40 times, this guy got drug tested one time, what's the difference? They just cut it out totally. So now shelters are not even allowed to say, you can't smoke crack here, or you can't use drugs here. They can't even make you do that. They can only ask you to stop doing it. So what happens now, you have shelters that are just like hangouts. Guys are drinking, drug addicts, problems like that.